slightly cooler than me. Just get that. He's slightly cooler than me because he played professional sports, and I never did. You know why? I can't jump. That's not true. So anyway, but more important than being in the NBA, he was also the captain of the Maccabi Tel Aviv. He signed in though? He was also the captain of the Maccabi Tel Aviv. So he's going to speak to us for a few minutes, and then we're going to eat pizza. Ready?
I got 15 minutes so your pizza will get cold. And since you're talking about the summer program in Israel, just to let you know who are some of our visitors this summer in Israel. First, did you ever hear of Amara Stoudemire? Yeah. Okay. Amara came to Israel with his personal trainer. He was training at our basketball stadium for 11,000 people, which we fill up. And I spoke to him, you know, after he trained and before he went back to the United States. So Amara, he just signed for...
If you're in the building, please report to the main office. Summer Thomas. If you're in the building, please report to the main office.
He just signed for $100 million with the New York Knicks. And so I talked to him, and we said that because basketball and sport is so popular in Israel, after he finishes 5 years with the New York Knicks, he's going to have $60 million that he already made, another $100 million, have $160 million in the bank, and he's going to be 33 years old. So instead of signing with the New York Knicks, he's thinking about coming and playing with our team, Maccabi Tel Aviv, in Israel. That was one group of visitors. The second group, did you ever hear of Allen Houston? Yeah. So these guys are in sports, I guess. Allen Houston, Jerome Williams, Anthony Bonner, Charlie Smith from the Globetrotters, Chris Wallace with the general manager of the Memphis Grizzlies. Okay, to show you how popular sport is in Israel, an NBA veteran team came to Israel, and I had the honor of hosting him. The first reception that they had in Israel was the president of Israel, Shimon Peres. After they went to Shimon Peres, we went to the Holocaust Museum. And if you go to Israel, you'll see the Holocaust Museum. It's the history of the Holocaust in our Jewish history. And after we went to the Holocaust Museum, we went to the largest absorption center in Israel for Ethiopian Jewry. Now, Ethiopian Jewry, it's like you have African American, we have African Israeli. So when everybody was coming in, so you know, you see somebody say, hi brother, right? In Israel, so I said, Anthony and Alan, all your brothers in Israel, but they speak Hebrew. It's different. Here you speak English, there they speak Hebrew. So it was a great summer. The summer before that, Dr. J and Rick Barry from the NBA 50 of the Greatest Legends. Dr. J has been to Israel about 2 or 3 times, and they gave basketball clinics. We went all over Israel because I said sport is very popular in Israel. We went all over Israel giving basketball clinics. That's not yet. They didn't get 15 minutes yet. It's not finished, right? So now, why is it popular? Our team in basketball, we 5 times won the European Basketball Championship. Yeah. 5 times. That's beating the best teams in Europe. The Russian teams, Yugoslavian teams. You got teams from Spain, teams from Italy that are doing very well. Not only in that, I just came in from Boston. I was at the Boston Celtics game when they played New Jersey. Actually, Shaq is looking very good. And even he's coming in as a spot player. He plays about 15 minutes. He's not bad. He still has a little problem with his weight, but he'll reduce it a little bit, and it'll be okay. But Boston's looking not bad, but they play Miami, I think, tonight or tomorrow. Yesterday, as I said, in Israel, basketball is popular. So we have at the Washington Wizards, that were the Baltimore Bullets. So I was at the camp yesterday. I saw some of the guys that played in Israel. They got Gene Banks, who's one of the assistant coaches. He played 10 years of basketball in Israel, the assistant coach with the Wizards. And the general manager, Ernie Grunfeld, like myself, how did I get to Israel? I participated in what they call the Jewish Olympics, the Maccabean Games. And instead of coming back to the Baltimore Bullets, I said I'm going to take a year out of my life and go to Israel and try to take the Israeli basketball to a different level. That year, we were so successful that we went not only past the first round to the finals of the European Basketball Championships. At that time, it was the Italian team, Ignis Varese, that played against us in the finals. But when basketball is played in Israel, you have to understand the Prime Minister is coming to the game, the Chief of the Armed Forces is coming to the game, and it's the most difficult thing in Israel is to get a ticket to a basketball game. And so that was the first time we won the championship, was in 1977. The second time, 1981. The third time in 2001. The fourth time in 2004. And then the fifth time was in Russia, because we beat the Russian team more than a few times. It was in Russia. It was the fifth time. Now, the honor that we got in basketball, winning the European Championship, it's great for Israel. It's a lot of pride for the whole country. But for Israel, and for myself, to be invited to the James Naismith Basketball Hall of Fame, when they took my jersey and put my jersey up on that wall next to Michael Jordan and Magic Johnson and Abdul-Jabbar and Rick Barry and Billy Walton, all the guys that I played with in college, it was unbelievable. It was a great honor for me. I'm sure you can understand it. You're in the United States, you're playing basketball, and it was a great honor for me. It was a greater honor for the state of Israel. The fact that we're the only team outside of the United States that had an exhibition in the Basketball Hall of Fame, was honored in the Basketball Hall of Fame. More than that, our team 2 years ago was invited in. I did the press conference with Isaiah Thomas. Isaiah said something very, not unusual, but very special in the press conference. For those that don't know, Isaiah Thomas was a great player with the Detroit Pistons. He said that when he went to Israel with the president of the Detroit Pistons, he went to Jerusalem. Now you go to Jerusalem, those that are going to go, in Jerusalem they have a historical wall. It's with the Jewish history. It goes back 2,000 years when the second temple was destroyed in Jerusalem. There's one part of that wall that's still there. When Isaiah Thomas went to that wall and he took a note, and it's a tradition, if you want something to happen in your life, a prayer, a special prayer for somebody that's sick or something that wants to happen in your future, he wrote a note and he put it in that wall. And he said at the press conference, when he came back to the United States, 2 years straight, the Detroit Pistons won the NBA National Championships. It was unbelievable. And so he agreed that to play our team, Maccabi Tel Aviv, we had 18,600 people that came to the game at Madison Square Garden. Because we're an Israeli team, we had the major part of the Jewish community that came to the game, and because I was associated with a group, it's called Words of Bond. In the New York schools, they have a program which relates the history of black slavery with the history of the Holocaust. So those two programs are together in the schools in New York. So we had a lot of kids from Martin Luther High School, Darrell Dawkins, which we did a program together with St. Anthony's High School, which took the 6th place in the United States in basketball, where our high school team played against them in a practice game that came into Israel. He came with his group of kids. It was just a fantastic outing. 18,600 people in Madison Square Garden. Now, because, like I told Isaiah Thomas in the press conference, don't be embarrassed if nobody's cheering for the New York Knicks. And then he said, well, Tal, don't worry, nobody's cheering for the New York Knicks these days anyway. But anyway, we played the New York Knicks, and the game was so successful that last year we were invited back to play the New York Knicks, and then we were invited back to play the Los Angeles Clippers. Now, we played both those games. It gave a tremendous support for our team, and it was a great honor for Israel that the fact that you're inviting an Israeli team to play in the United States against the tops of the NBA All-Star team, the Washington Wizards, probably within the next few years are going to be coming to Israel to play. In fact, the owner that just passed away from the Washington Wizards or the Baltimore Bullets, it's the same team, was the first team. He brought the first team to play in Israel. That's when Wes Unseld and Earl Monroe had a great team back in the 70s. He was the first owner that brought a basketball team to play in Israel. It was called the Washington Bullets at that time. It was called before they changed their name to the Washington Wizards. But we beat that team by 1 point in Israel. We had 11,000 people cheering for us. It was difficult, but it was the summer, and those guys came more or less to enjoy
Miss
Israel.
Graham, call into the main office, please. Miss Graham, call into the main office.
So it's summertime, and like you're saying, it's summertime in Israel. Everything is blooming. Everything is out there. It's a lot of fun, a lot of excitement. And what I like to do, if you have any special questions, I'd just like to leave it up. Take this opportunity, the short time we have left, I'll just answer any questions that they might have. And by the way, we have our first, from all that, in all those championships that we won in Europe against the best teams in Europe, we have our first basketball player in the NBA, a fellow called Omri Caspi. He's playing with the Sacramento Kings, a young basketball player. He's coming up. He's a hustler. He's a fighter. And they just re-signed him.
Entrepreneur Education meeting will be starting in room 230.
They re-signed him. This is going to be his second year in the NBA, but they already took that option and signed him for a third year. Okay, so yes, you have a question? Your pizzas are getting cold, so I don't want to
Should we
hold you
hand out
up.
the pizza
But-
wine?
What?
Should we hand out, one second, guys, stay seated. Should we hand out the pizza wine? Why do you want to answer?
I don't mind, just as long as if they want me to answer questions, I'll answer the questions.
You know, we'll take, guys, stay in your seats. We'll send, 4 pies, we'll send it to the corners of the room, but let's try not to do it like
As
chaotically.
long as I can hear the questions.
In your basketball career, what are you most proud of?
I'll tell you, what I'm most proud of, everything, you know, in basketball you win a lot of trophies, you take a lot of championships. What I'm most proud of, that in Israel, they have an honor, it's something like the Nobel Prize. As a basketball player, being born in the United States and going to Israel, when I received what they call the Israel Prize, it's the highest honor that a citizen can receive in Israel. And as a sportsman, as a basketball player, I was really proud to receive that award. So it was an award from the results that I played basketball, but it wasn't a basketball award. It was an award that was usually given to the top scientists and the top people in medicine, or